Hello, lovely witches. This is Dawn from Aurora Dawn. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. In this video, I am going to discuss how to use magic when dealing with a difficult person. Okay, so to start out, I wanted to mention that it can be very tricky when you're using magic to try and change somebody or control somebody's behavior because you're interfering with their, what's the word? Free will. So you're going against their free will. So it can be tricky, especially if you're trying to get somebody to change who is really fearful. That's why they're behaving the way they are. So if you try to make them change, they will buck against you and kick against you, and it could make things worse. I'll just leave it at that. You know the old saying, "Be careful what you wish for." Well, that comes into play because you don't know what else is going on with that person that they need to deal with and take care of. So anyway, I'll just leave it at that, and let's get into this. Okay, the first step to dealing with somebody who's difficult is for you to take your responsibility, your part of the issue, the relationship. And I'm not trying to find fault here. I'm not trying to see where I'm at fault. Because when you start thinking in terms of whose fault is it, you slip down the slippery slope of the blame and shame and victim game. And you want to stay away from that because that's not going to help you heal. Whose fault is it? Doesn't really matter. Where is the cause and what is the solution? That should be your focus, okay? So when somebody is trying to attack me or cause trouble or just hate on me, my first reaction, and I'm sure it's very natural and everybody else does this too, I want to attack them back. So kind of a revenge kind of attitude where they call me hurtful names, so I'm going to call them hurtful names. They call me mean, stupid, poopy head, I'm going to call them mean, stupid, and a poopy head too. And it's a childish way of responding. So I'm not going to go there. I don't want to go there. It's not going to help me heal. It's not going to help them heal. It's not going to heal the relationship. In fact, it will only feed the fire. So ego feeds ego. If you respond with your ego, it incites their ego to keep attacking you. So what you can do then is be the change you want to see in the relationship. And so that might be difficult because it's, say, like in my Facebook group, Shadow Magic Witches on Facebook, somebody in that group asked about what to do with her jealous husband. And you might think, well, how am I'm not seeing anybody, I'm not sleeping around or anything like that, so how am I contributing to him feeling jealous? It's not black and white like that. What it is that you are putting out a vibe that is triggering an insecurity in the other person, and that insecurity comes out in, I'm jealous of what might be going on. I'm in their fantasy or in their ego, they think you might be seeing somebody else. Okay, that's where it just goes to, because that's their programming. So be the change you want to see in your life, in your relationship. I need to tell you the story. When I was I was married to this guy who was very insecure, and I came to a point where I had an awakening experience, and I realized Christianity was not what I need to be following, and I had to let it go. And then once I let it go, I found a metaphysical shop in the neighborhood, and I started visiting there, buying books and talking to people there and reading all kinds of stuff, and I finally landed on witchcraft, which just really spoke to me. And so I've been on that path ever since. But what happened is I grew, I changed, I became more spiritual, I started working on myself, and it triggered some sort of insecurity in my then husband, and he became emotionally abusive. One of the things that I developed was a desire to go back to school. And so I got a job. I wasn't working at the time, so I got a job and I opened a separate bank account to save up money for that, for to go to college. And my husband lost his mind basically and became very abusive, and it triggered an insecurity in him. And after about about a year or so of him being emotionally abusive, I got fed up. I went to a lawyer and had the lawyer draw up divorce papers and send them to my husband. And when he received them, he locked me out of the house. Nice. So, long story short, he later told me that because I was changing, it made him feel like he was going to lose me, and he wanted me to go back to my old way. He wanted me to stop changing and go back to the way I was. Well, I can't do that. I got to grow, right? And he couldn't grow with me because of his fear and his insecurity. But I'm not going to blame him. He didn't know how to deal with it. He didn't know how to grow, and neither did I. I was new to this growth, spiritual growth stuff. I just want to make it clear that when you start growing spiritually, it can trigger insecurities in the other person and things can go awry. And you are the only one who can make the decision whether you need to leave that person or if you're going to stay. And if you stay, you're going to burn off a ton of karma, because it's going to be very, very difficult to stay with a person who is very insecure with you growing spiritually and becoming a different person. Okay, I need to tell you another story. I made this board for another video, but very quickly, a lot of people, you already know this story. My mom became what I call politically radicalized, and during the presidential race in 2016 to 2017 here in the US, and Donald Trump was running for president, and my mother was a Hillary supporter and an extreme liberal. She's very liberal. So during that time, she saw that I was not posting anything hateful about Trump, so therefore she made the assumption that I was a Trump supporter. But I didn't really post anything hateful about anybody. I'm not that person. I just don't like doing that. I didn't post anything hateful about Hillary or about anybody else that was running for president that year. So, she made this assumption and drew a conclusion based on it. And on Facebook, she was telling everybody all these things about me that were not true. She was calling me all sorts of names. So, she was being hateful towards me, and I could very well have gone on her Facebook timeline and told a bunch of stories about how terrible she was when I was growing up. But I didn't see the point. I mean, it's not going to help me heal, and it's not going to help her heal. So I'm not going to do that. Instead, what I did is I did an exercise that I teach my students, and it helps clarify where I am an energetic match to her criticism, where we all reflect other people's shadow stuff. So knowing that, I wanted to take a look at what she was criticizing me for so I could heal that. And at the same time, I need to look at what I am judging her, because that is her karma, and I need to flush that out. I need to stop carrying her karma around, because it's not mine, it's hers to deal with. So I'm reflecting her shadow work that she needs to do, but it's her karma and I'm carrying it around. Hopefully that's clear, but let me show you. So I made this for another video where I talked about how to do this exercise. So I have a column for Mom and for me, and I'm recording this over Facebook. It's just easier for me this way. It works. It's free. But Facebook has a problem. It just doesn't know how to not mirror stuff, even though I have the mirror thing turned off. But anyway, so Mom, this is how I am judging her, and then over here is how she judged me. So she's judging me here. Okay, so starting off with how my mom is criticizing me. What is she saying to me? So she called me ignorant. She said I would make a good Nazi because I didn't protest. I didn't stand up for myself. I wasn't being an asshat and being ugly and bullying and people who, you know, were not standing up against Trump. And so I would make a good Nazi because I wasn't protesting. Self-righteous New Ager. And that was a difficult one. It took me a long time to figure out where that was coming from. Easily swayed by grifters. And that's a long story. And it's not true. She just made an assumption again. Delusional, and I don't think for myself. Because I wasn't agreeing with her opinion, therefore I don't think for myself. The ego does twist things around. It's just, you know, the ego can be very childish and neurotic and misunderstand things a lot. Anyway, these are things I need to look into. So quickly, ignorant was my belief that I need to be powerless to be safe. Because knowledge is power, I have to be ignorant in order to be powerless in order to be safe. Nazis, that I would make a good Nazi, is all about not standing up for myself, and because I don't believe I'm smart enough. That's a belief that I have. So if I believed I was smart enough, I would stand up for myself. Okay. Self-righteous New Ager, what I came up with is I'm not good enough. Also a fear of conflict. So I am self-righteous New Ager, meaning be positive, be good, just be kind to each other. That's the message I was trying to tell her, and because she was being so hateful about Trump and about any Trump supporter and all of that. So that was because of my fear of conflict. I don't like conflict. I want people to work together and be cooperative. Easily swayed by grifters. This is not smart enough again. So, you know, other people can influence me easily because I believe I'm not smart enough. Delusional. What came up was I can't trust my intuition. Don't think for myself, not smart enough again. So a lot of not smart enough was coming up. And think about it, if you are smart enough, there's this, I don't need other people. I can do this by myself. I can stand up for myself because I believe in myself. I believe I know enough that this is true, that I can have confidence in it. So not smart enough came up a lot. So I need to work on those things, and I'm taking responsibility for that. Now, how I am judging her, there's an exercise. You take a piece of paper and draw an oval. Depending on how much judgment, you might want a bigger piece of paper. But you just draw an oval. Okay, so at the bottom, you're going to write "and anything else," just in case you missed anything. And then also beneath that, you put the person's name again, and it says, so I put, "Mom, this is your karma, not mine." So I'm letting go of her karma. These are what I'm judging her. And so in the middle, you write all your judgments. So resentful, bitter, hateful, and so on. You get the point. So you write all that down, and then when you're done, you need a heat-proof cauldron of some sorts. I got this at Goodwill, and I think it's just cute as a button. I love it. But this is what I use for my cauldron. And a lighter, of course. So you take that piece of paper and couple it up. And here's a little tip. If it's really scrunched up tight, it's going to have a hard time really burning all the way to ash. So loosen it up. Okay, so it's not really tight. And then go ahead and light it. And it's going to burn kind of quick. Drop it in your cauldron and let it burn. Isn't it pretty? I gotta hold it by the rings so my fingers don't burn. But just keep an eye on it. Make sure it burns all the way out. And this is your karma, Mom. This is yours, not mine. I'm not going to carry it anymore. All the way down to ashes. It doesn't take very long. And then afterwards, you can flush this down the toilet, the ashes, or bury the ashes. Either way works fine. You can put it in the river, though somebody might think you're littering, even though you're not. Ashes are very clean. And it's just paper, so it's the natural product. It should be fine. Let me know in the comments if that would be polluting or something. I don't think so. I mean, I'm going to bury this. So anyway, there you go. That is done. And then you can wipe that energy all off your hands. You're done with it. And that's it. This is part 1. The video editor in YouTube messed up the first time, so I'm doing this again. And the first time I did it, my phone lost connection, so I have to do a part 2. So look for the part 2 and make sure you watch it, because there's I talk about how to do a spell. It's for sweetening the relationship, so make sure you watch it, okay? And I will see you over there. All right, bye.